Warning, the following program has been rated T for truth.
You can't handle the truth!
Oh, we think you can. Welcome to the Naked Truth Report with your host, truth warrior and mythbuster Kathleen Wells. The place where we distinguish fact from fiction, where data is used to drive points home, and where Kathleen takes the position that Democrats and black politicians have destroyed black America. Welcome to the Naked Truth Report. Now, your host, Kathleen Wells.
Good afternoon, good evening, Truth Warriors and Mythbusters. I'm your host, Kathleen Wells of the Naked Truth Report. You know, I mentioned last week that I'd like to have Democrat callers call in and tell me why do they support the Democratic Party. Democrat voters, call in and tell me, be specific. Be specific. Tell me why you support the Democratic Party and why you're voting for Joe Biden. I want to know. Yes. What do I want to talk about? I want to say that for the past 3.5 years, Democrats and with the help of the media have blamed Trump for everything. Trump is responsible for I think we have how many deaths now because of coronavirus? Let me look. I have a chart, world or meters chart. 92,478 deaths as of May 19th. So Trump is responsible directly responsible for those deaths, despite the fact that he had flights into the United States from China banned, and he was called racist and xenophobic by Biden and other Democrats and those in the media for doing that. So despite the fact that he had flights from China banned, they're saying he's responsible for all these 97,000 deaths. We're nearing, 92,478 deaths. So he's responsible for the deaths, coronavirus deaths, and he's responsible for crashing the economy. He's responsible for unemployment being as high as it was during the Depression. He's responsible for that too, despite the fact that he wants the economy open. He wants the states open. He wants the country back open. But he's responsible for that. In other words, for the last 3.5 years, Democrats have blamed Trump for everything with the help of the media. Trump is responsible for everything bad happening in America. In fact, there's one group on my Facebook. You know, I'm blocked on my Facebook page as usual, right? The other Facebook page. I always tell you that. And, you know, I also heard that Candace Owens is suing Facebook because she was blocked or censored, rather. The censoring by social media of Twitter users, Facebook users, YouTube users, they censor conservative or pro-Trump views. Censoring of information is fascist. It's a violation of the First Amendment, wouldn't you say? They only want us to hear the one point of view. They only want us to talk about the Democrats' point of view on everything. We should not have all the information and be able to decide for ourselves. This is how these folks roll. So, you know, I'm blocked on my Facebook page, but I am in one group, the mass incarceration group. I'm also in Dr. Claude Anderson's group. You know, Dr. Claude Anderson sponsors my show, but this group is the new Jim Crow mass incarceration. Now, you know, that's the title of Michelle Alexander's book, which I've read, which I've also, when I was a Democrat/progressive, everyone knows, my listeners know, I had the Kathleen Wells show, and I voted for Obama once. And until I started listening to Dr. Claude Anderson and digging into the data and seeing how illegal aliens adversely impact Black Americans and all Americans, that's when I switched to, when Trump came down the the escalator and said that he was building a wall, I knew immediately I was voting for him because I had learned the data on illegal immigration, on illegal aliens. I had done all that research. I had listened to Barbara Jordan. I had listened to Terry Anderson. I had listened to Dr. Claude Anderson. I did extensive research. I learned the data. I learned the history. I read about what was said in the 1800s regarding high immigration adversely impacting Black America. Frederick Douglass and Booker T. Washington, W.D. Du Bois, all the academicians and newspapers talked about in the 1800s how high immigration adversely impacted Black America. So when I realized that for decades, politicians have been, illegal aliens had been coming into America, adversely impacting and all American workers and suppressing wages of all American workers. And when I had the building inspector on the show and learned that 80 to 90% of the jobs in Los Angeles are held by illegal aliens, I said, I have to vote for Trump. Because he's the only one that is trying to resolve a problem, a crucial problem that has adversely impacted America and Americans for decades. Barbara Jordan talked about it in the 90s. Terry Anderson talked about it. I'm sort of stepping into Terry Anderson's, I'm stepping into his, how do I want to say, I'm taking his place, so to speak. Who else talked about it? Remember they had the U.S. Commission on Human Rights. They talked about it. But anyway, why did I get on that? Because I was talking about the group. So this group is the new Jim Crow mass incarceration group. Now, we all know that's the title of Michelle Alexander's book, who I interviewed. And that interview can be found it's a 3-part interview. That interview can be found on the Huffington Post. So I know Michelle Alexander. In fact, I asked Michelle Alexander to work with Trump regarding the criminal justice reform, to write a white paper for Trump, because someone contacted me and informed me that Trump was looking for a white paper on criminal justice. So I reached out to Michelle Alexander, who I know personally, and asked her, because I've interviewed her. That interview is on the Huffington Post. You can find it. It's a 3-part interview. And I asked her to provide a white paper. She couldn't be bothered. Okay? Because why? Because she's anti-Trump. Why are Black Americans anti-Trump? Because they're convinced that Trump is what? Racist. Now, they didn't think he was a racist before he became president. In fact, Trump was very friendly with Black folks before he was president. Was he not? Would you disagree with that? In fact, rappers used to talk about him in their rap song, like he was the guy, Trump's the man kind of thing, right? It wasn't until, and you can see pictures of Trump with Jesse Jackson and Al Sharpton and all these other cats, right? All these other Black folks, Puffy Combs, and what's the other one's name? What's the one married to Beyonce? I can't remember. They dug the guy. Snoop Dogg. They thought he was like a baller or whatever you say. I don't know the language, but he was like the man, Trump. But once he became president, he became racist. He wasn't racist before. So people were looking for anything to attach. They looked for anything to attach the word racist to President Trump. And they used the Central Park 5 case to say, well, he took out a full page ad and called for the Central Park 5 guys to be hung by their balls or whatever. I dug into that matter. First of all, Al Sharpton negotiated the plea. It wasn't a plea deal, but those guys being paid off. Now, anything Al Sharpton is involved in, and you guys know I interviewed Al Sharpton years ago at the Black Caucus thing, and how he sort of like And he was supposed to come on the show. When I interviewed him at the Legislative Black Caucus, Al Sharpton said he would come on the show. Well, I spoke to his PR people over and over. He never did come on because I wanted to talk to him specifically about how illegal aliens are adversely impacting Black America. Yes, they are. Some of these, we're 9% of the population. Black Americans are 9% of the population in Los Angeles, 8 or 9%, and we're 40% of the homeless. That's a problem. Driving up and down La Brea, driving up and down La Cienega, looking on Venice Boulevard, all you see are homeless folks. Black, and they're mostly black. You see white homeless folks over in Marina del Rey in Venice. But right in La Brea, La Cienega, Venice Boulevard, mostly black folks. I know homeless white Americans we're citizens. We shouldn't be homeless. Black Americans and white Americans have been in this country since its founding. And we shouldn't be homeless. Oh, did I say Happy Memorial Day? I forgot. Happy Memorial Day. Anyway, I'm talking about this page, the new Jim Crow mass incarceration. So it's titled after Michelle Alexander. There are about 12,000 members in this group. 12, that's a substantial number of people. The most vocal people in the group are folks who believe that Trump is racist. They believe Trump is racist, and therefore anything Trump says is wrong. I don't care what it is. He is wrong about coronavirus. He is wrong about hydrochloroquine, the treatment. He is wrong about everything. Why? Because he's racist. What is the evidence of his racism? Oh, the Central Park Five. This is how they reason. This is the extent of their reasoning. Now, when I talk in this group, they say, I don't even know why I'm talking about this because it's like ridiculous. I'm talking about it because it was something that I was just recently in the group talking to the folks in the group. Now, when Biden, that's why I want to bring it up. When Biden says, you are not a black person if you vote for Trump. You guys know, you truth warriors know, I don't even like to use the word racism. I'm not even into it. But to use it now, the epitome of racism is the destruction of Black America. To me, that's the epitome of white supremacy and racism, is the destruction of Black America. Why? Because we've been here 460 years, and now we're destroyed, despite voting Democrat for 6 decades, despite being the backbone of the Democratic Party for 6 decades. We are now destroyed. Evidence of that is the level of homelessness. Evidence of that is that Black America is facing zero median wealth by 2053. Evidence of that is that now we only have 25% two-parent families. When the family is destroyed, you're destroyed. Your community is destroyed. Evidence of the fact that we've been destroyed is that up and down Crenshaw Boulevard from Pico to Inglewood, you don't see black businesses. This is the evidence of that, okay? I would think that those things matter. Those data points matter to Black Americans. But no, Black Americans who think Trump is racist, even though the destruction of Black America is the epitome of white supremacy / racism, you can't get more white supremacists or racists than destroying Black America. So I don't care what's his name, Biden said. It doesn't matter to me what he said. Because people say many things. And I've looked at a few of a compilation of Biden giving interviews. And it's quite funny, actually. Because you can't really follow his train of thought. You don't know exactly what he's talking about. So I'm not surprised that Biden said, you're not black. Well, he didn't say not. He said, you ain't. And that's another thing. I think saying ain't is like thinking that, all black people talk like that, in that sort of way of like Ebonics or something. We don't know the proper English. We don't know how to speak properly. So we say, it ain't right, But anyway, you ain't black if you vote for Trump. That's what Biden said. I don't really care what he says because it's expected. He's expected to say anything, and I'm sure he'll continue. He'll continue to say inappropriate things. Big deal. Who cares? People say a lot of things. What's more important than words are deeds. And what are the deeds of the Democratic Party? And naturally, Democrats can defend anything. Democrats defend Democrats no matter what they do. They change the goalpost, just like the Me Too movement. It's when it was Kavanaugh and everybody, when it was a conservative, it's like believe all women. Now that it's Tara Reid, it's like, well, believe her, but still I'm entitled to due process. That's what Nancy Pelosi said. Joe Biden, he's entitled to due process. But they weren't giving Kavanaugh due process, were they? So going back to this, the destruction of Black America is the epitome of racism / white supremacy. I don't care what Biden said. I look at the deeds of the Democratic Party towards Black Americans. Black Americans have sustained the Democratic Party for 6 decades. So why are we 40% of the homeless in Los Angeles? Why? Our unemployment numbers during that 6-decade period was always high, always double digits. It only became low with Trump. That's the first time the unemployment numbers for Black Americans became low. It's unprecedented. So why do why do Black Americans continue to support the Democratic Party? And going into this Facebook group, you realize that they think I'm a Russian bot, okay? They name call. I'm a troll. I'm a Russian bot. But they can't dig into the data. They can't dig into the substance. They're one-dimensional and shallow. Because calling someone names is what you do on the schoolyard. Calling someone names is not a political analysis. We want political analysis. We want an assessment of the landscape for Black Americans since they've been voting Democrat. I'd like to ask someone like Donna Brazile, how has Black Americans fared since they've been voting Democrat for 6 decades? How have they done? What is the data point? Point to the success that Democrats have had with Black Americans since we have been the backbone of the Democratic Party. Show us what you've done. Not only has the Democratic Party completely just ignored Black Americans until we come to vote time, always around vote time, here come Democrats going to speak with Charlemagne, the God, that's what he's called, on, The Breakfast Club, and all those. Around vote time, here comes Democrats extolling their virtues for Black Americans, what they've done. Now, the irony is that this group is called Jim Crow mass incarceration. Well, but for the 1994 crime bill, which Joe Biden wrote, would there be mass incarceration? I don't know. I don't know the exact data. Well, I think mass incarceration started. This is what Michelle Alexander speaks about in her book. She said that Nixon announced mass incarceration. Reagan started it. And Bill Clinton put mass incarceration on steroids. I remember that explicit. She goes over the numbers and the data during each of those presidents' tenure in office. Nixon's announced it, Reagan started it, and Bill Clinton put it on steroids. And then Biden probably helped to put it on steroids with his 1994 crime bill. But in the Facebook group, of Michelle Alexander's name of her book, Jim Crow, New Jim Crow, Mass Incarceration. And, also I actually saw some data that said that, I can't remember what this was, but it was like there really isn't mass incarceration. I need to look that up again, but it brought up the fact that there wasn't really mass incarceration. I need to look up, and before I even say that, mention that, I should go over it, know some data specifically about why there isn't. It's something to the effect that, but I know that there is a disparity between crack cocaine and powder cocaine, crack and powder cocaine. And that's bothersome. Would you not agree? Why that disparity? But the point that I was going to make is that it's not important what Biden said. It's to be expected. He's going to say a lot of things that are probably inappropriate or off-putting. But I don't care what people say, because people say things. I want to look at their deeds are more important than their words. Their deeds are what's important. What I wanted to mention before I go to break, I'm going to go to break in about 3 minutes, is that I was listening to, before I came into the station, I was listening to Greg Jarrett's show. He was sitting in for Mark Levin. And he played an excerpt from Attorney General Barr, who last week mentioned that the actions of the investigation into General Flynn was based on false and utterly baseless Russian narrative. And the purpose that the predicate as to why they wanted to get rid of General Flynn, who was the national security advisor, is because essentially they wanted to get rid of Trump. And they felt that this would be a way to impeach Trump. Why did they want to get rid of Trump? Well, I guess because Trump is not a part of the deep state. And he's not a part of the establishment. And he's going to expose that. In fact, I read something briefly that mentioned that Trump is going to have an interview tonight, actually, discussing how he's dismantling or having an impact on the deep state, untangling it. I'll probably listen to that when after the show is over, when I go home. This will be interesting. But also I'd like to mention that General Flynn's attorney, I think her name is Sidney Powell, has filed a writ of mandamus because Judge Sullivan, who is the judge at the district court level, has refused, despite the fact that the Department of Justice has dismissed the prosecution against Flynn. The judge at the district court level, his name is Sullivan, has refused to dismiss the prosecution. That district court judge Sullivan has a responsibility to follow the Department of Justice. He must do it. He shouldn't question it. He must dismiss the prosecution of Flynn. If the Department of Justice decides to dismiss the case, he must do it. But he's not doing it. And that's why Sidney Powell had to file the writ of mandamus. There's my music. And when we come back from the break, we'll open up the phone lines. We'll be right back. Welcome back. Yeah, we have a new sponsor, Balance of Nature. And yes, I've been taking it for 7 months now, and I feel and look great. No kidding. I want to encourage you to take it. 7 months is when it kicks in. I was feeling good before, but I have so much energy. I went walking early this morning and without a mask. I walk, but I don't wear a mask. And you've noticed that, did you hear Dr. Birx say that, let's see, there's scientific evidence. Is that what you said? There's scientific evidence that mask prevents droplets of the virus from reaching you if you're less than 6 feet away in distance. Yeah, she said that today. But I want to recommend Balance of Nature because it boosts your immune system. So if you call 1-800-246-8751, that's 1-800-246-8751, and use code NAKEDTRUTH, you get a 35% discount. This is something I can give a testimony for because I take it. No kidding. I wouldn't say I take it and I don't take it. I take it. And I've been taking it for 7 months. In fact, I heard about Balance of Nature on Sebastian Gorka's show. And I said, I want to try it. Now is the time to boost your immune system because of the virus. Yes, the virus is a real thing. However, I think that I know that the media and the Democrats have been hyping it, over-exaggerating it for their political advantage. That's what I think. Let's see. 50 states, we're in the reopening process. We're in the reopening point of the process or whatever. We're at the point of reopening, all 50 states. However, California, I think we're not even in stage three yet. We're still on stage 1 and 2. So many states have reopening, but with precautions or with certain variables. You must wear a mask. You must practice social distancing. Yesterday in Sacramento, there was a protest in Sacramento to reopen California because they feel that Newsom is violating the constitutional rights of Los Angelenos. Also, June 1st will be reopen Los Angeles. So they're holding June 1st as reopen irrespective of what Garcetti says. June 1st, reopen businesses irrespective of what Garcetti says. He's taking too long. I think they're using this as political fodder against Trump. This is the only way that Democrats feel that they have a chance at winning. If they make Trump responsible for the deaths and responsible for crashing the economy. This is the only way that Democrats feel they have a chance. They've tried everything before. They tried Russiagate. They tried impeachment. They tried, what else? Ukraine. But this is their last opportunity to beat Trump. And they're using it. Remember, Rahm Emanuel said, never let a crisis go to waste. Do you remember him saying that? Why don't I take a call now from Roy? Hi, Roy. Welcome to the Naked Truth Report.
Oh, actually, it's Ray. How you doing?
Oh, hi, Ray. How are you?
I'm fine. I'll be quick. This is some food for thought. I've been saying this for some time about this emotional trick bag black people seem to have with Donald Trump and how he's a racist and we hate him. Well, how about we do this? How about if we start telling these people, you mentioned Beyonce and her husband Jay-Z, how much money did his tax cut save you? Mm-hmm. How much? It's in the tens of millions of dollars, I'll tell you that. Oh, let's go a little further. Barack and Michelle Obama? Well, Michelle's already made over $100 million on her book sales. Mm-hmm. Same thing. Mm-hmm. What are they doing? What are they going to do with this money? If you look at all the money that this man is saving the black avant-garde, who all hate him, why don't they take this opportunity to use him? God rest his soul, just like Bill Withers. Use me till you use me up. Mm-hmm. And if they don't, God help me, maybe we are mentally deficient. Because what would you do if someone you hated left you the keys to the kingdom on the ground and said, let's see if you're smart enough to pick them up?
Yeah,
That's where we're at right now.
Yeah, I think that's a very good point. In fact, the Democrats use these high-profile celebrity folks, black high-profile celebrity folks, to influence black Americans. You remember Kanye West went against that whole thing. And then they dogged Kanye West, remember?
Yes, absolutely. And I'm dating the heck out of myself, hon. You're probably a young sprout. You don't remember when Malcolm X was alive, and he warned us about following behind athletes and entertainers.
Right.
To begin with.
Right, he sure did. I've heard that audio on YouTube. You're absolutely right. That's a good point. And people like, and they use them. Oprah benefited from the tax cut. We all know. All these basketball players benefit.
Amounts of money, people. Get in these folks' grill.
Well,
call them out.
We're not in the national media. I'm trying to get in the national media, but we need
you
more.
Will.
We need more. And I think that Candace, she's wonderful. And Candace Owens, I love the fact that she's suing Facebook. She's using the Covington lawyer, with Covington boys. But she's in the national media. I'd like to get in the national media because these black folks, they're, what do they call the boulier or whatever? They're bourgeois, highly. Yeah. They make a lot of money. Like Bakari Sellers was on Washington Journal Saturday, and he has a book he's pumping. They're all millionaires, but they're so concerned about the homeless black folks. They're using us.
You have to keep them crying.
Yeah, it's pathetic. It's very sad. Thank you, Ray, for calling in. I appreciate it. That's a good point. Okay, let's listen to who. Hi, Carlos. Welcome to the Naked Truth Report.
Yes, good evening. Well, I agree with you that the figures are being hyped about this coronavirus. Consider what Senator Jensen from Minnesota said. He's a medical doctor. He made a video where he referenced how Social Security is giving hospitals $13,000 for each identified virus patient and $39,000 if they're put on ventilators.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of manipulation going on. There's an incentive for hospitals to skew the numbers in favor of aggrandizing and enhancing the figures on the coronavirus. And of course, you got people. Consider what David Rockefeller said. He was one of the heads of Exxon, the petrochemical companies. He said, we're on the verge of a radical transformation, social global transformation. All we need is a proper crisis to bring in a new world order. Isn't that what we have right now? The suspension of our liberties?
Yeah, I agree with you.
The bigger picture about this whole thing, they're using this to take our liberties away.
Exactly.
Under the disguise of the virus.
Right. And in fact, I was watching Washington Journal yesterday morning, and I can't remember the guy's name. He was the something finance director for Yahoo or something like that. He was in charge of Yahoo and finance. And he was talking about how this coronavirus has shown us how the Yang Gang principle of, what is it called, guaranteed income. You see? Guaranteed income for everyone. Remember Yang was saying something like that on one of his policy positions, a guaranteed income. So this guy with Yahoo Finance was saying that this coronavirus is showing the necessity for that. You see?
Well, they've been talking the left side, the Democrats, have for the last 2 or 3 years been talking about a universal income.
Right, exactly.
This is it right here. This is their golden opportunity to bring it in, So all these crises open up the path for many of the agendas, and I hate to say it, from the left.
I think you're absolutely right. Even Biden is talking about the new Green Deal. They're using this. This is so sad. How we are being so manipulated. They are willing to lie and deceive. The deep state, the establishment folks will do anything to promote their agenda. Thank you, Carlos, for calling in. Let's take Brent now with, hi, in L.A. Hi, Brent. Welcome to the Naked Truth Report. How have you been?
Very good. How about you?
Good.
I just wanted to call and find out if I heard what I think I just heard. Did our jovial genius, Brother Joe, really say that all God-loving, conservative, constitutional, independent, Democrat plantation-fleeing black Americans will be race traitors and Uncle Toms if they don't vote for him?
Basically,
really?
Yeah. We're not black. We're not black.
Yeah. And is that just for him, or is that what happens when anyone doesn't vote Democrat? Women, women, gays, Jews, do we all lose our genders and our religious statuses if we don't vote Democrat?
He's just, you know what, Biden, he's liable to say anything. He's just trying to, he's just trying to show how bad he is. He's trying to one up Trump. And he was with, he was with the Breakfast Club. And so he was trying to give his black bona fide. Yeah, I'm cool. Just like Hillary. Just like Hillary Clinton, like, I got my hot sauce and, they think I got my hot sauce in my purse for my, so he was just, they think all blacks are like that. Yeah, you ain't black if you don't vote for Trump. I mean, if you vote for Trump, you ain't black. He's just trying to be like, savage, like, ghetto, cause that's how all us blacks are like that. We're so into hip hop and that rap stuff,
It was like initially when I first heard it, I just got very angry.
Yeah.
And then I found myself, I couldn't stop laughing.
Yeah, I don't even take it seriously. He's liable to say anything. It's like, I don't care what he says. Who cares? It's what you do. Biden will say anything. This will continue, He's going to have a lot of gaffes and so on and so forth. So what? It's what you did. It's that 1994 crime bill that's the problem, right?
Yeah, I don't know. It's sort of like a political Monty Python.
We can laugh about it. Listen, the bottom line is this: the Democrats will do anything to win. What they did to Flynn lets us know. They're impeaching Trump over hogwash lets you know. They'll do anything to win because they're about power and control and nothing more. Thanks, Brett, for calling in to the Naked Truth Report. Okay, let's take a call now from David in Beverly Hills. Hi, David. Welcome to the Naked Truth Report.
Yes, hi. So you started out your show saying that how come blacks are not concerned about illegal immigration, which has been shown to affect their jobs. And I read that for many, many years in Los Angeles, the predominant drywaller worker was black, and then with illegal immigration, they were displaced by illegal immigrants, typically from Latin America, who basically took over the drywalling and other types of things. So if I was wondering if that's the case, and that impacts black hard workers in their pocketbook, then how come that doesn't translate into realizing that illegal immigration impacts them in supporting their family and in working and having their jobs, their hardworking jobs, taken away? And maybe one answer, and I'd like to hear your thought process of it, is because for every Kathleen Wells, Candace Owens, Larry Elder, Clarence Thomas, the media has so much indoctrination that it overpowers the voices that you guys and gals give to the rest of us with facts and not just emotional and misinformation. Thank you.
Yeah, I agree. That's it. They're inundated by not only just the Bacardi sellers and the Don Lemons and the Oprah Winfrey's, but by also Beyonce is for Hillary Clinton. And, the celebrities. Most blacks, the majority of blacks don't really read the data and they don't research these issues and know the data. But they look at TV and they see Jay-Z support and, what is the guy? I can't even think of the celebrity names, but the guy who's married to Chrissy Teigen. What's his name? Yeah, John Legend and all of them. Snoop Dogg and the basketball players. What are their names? LeBron. Isn't that terrible
James.
Isn't that terrible? I don't know their names. I'm like, I'm weird, right? But anyway, LeBron James, because LeBron James was like, something about that was a lynching, something somebody said, I don't know. LeBron, and all of them, I can't even think of them, but the high profile TV folks, Oprah Winfrey, I can say Oprah Winfrey, I remember that name. But who else? They support, you're right, they overwhelm. They're not, I used to be a Democrat. There are not that many black conservatives that are in the media. But I would love.
And the hypocrisy I see is that the left, the liberals, that they want to say that they're so pro minority, people of color, women, etc. Yet when an intelligent person of color or an intelligent
No, I don't use
woman,
person of color. Say black American. Yeah, I hate
black
person
American,
of color. Yeah.
Well, you're absolutely right. Yeah. Okay. So when somebody intelligent that is not fits in their mold, they don't even acknowledge it. Even if, say, somebody disagreed with a liberal disagreed with your political viewpoint and said, okay, Catherine, you say X and I say Y and you discuss it. No, they don't even acknowledge it. And like you mentioned with Candace Owens, they what did they do? Get her off of
they block you, censor you. They don't want to hear it.
Right. So instead of saying, okay, we disagree with her, well, let's hear what she has to say, or the other people, they have a dialogue. Anyways, and you mentioned you used to be a progressive, a liberal. Mm-hmm. I'm originally from Chicago, the Mayor Daley, Chicago, and that can kind of tell you how I grew up.
Right, exactly. Thanks for
over the past maybe 3, 4, 5 years, my wife and I have seen the light. And by the way, my wife is a legal immigrant from El Salvador. She's been here 40 years. We've been here 31 years. And I joke with her and I say, how come you're not a Democrat? I mean, aren't Latins supposed to be Democrat?
Right.
Anyways, well, thank you. I'll let you go. Keep up the good work.
Okay, thanks for calling in, David. Okay, let's take a call from Sue in Orange County. Hi, welcome to the Naked Truth Report, Sue.
Hi, Kathleen. You've been asking for a couple of weeks for Democrats to call, and I think they're afraid to call and get on your show.
Well, I don't know if they even listen.
Maybe they do, but they're just afraid because they know they have nothing to say. Anyway, I have something about Andrew Cuomo. He's blabbing about how it's President Trump's fault that all the people in New York died in the nursing homes when he has actually forced the nursing homes to take the patients.
Right.
It's ridiculous. And one more thing. I've been at the beach all day, and it is a couple of places along the coast. It is like a regular beach day. A lot of the restaurants have open seat-in dining. People are eating inside, and it looks like it's been a wonderful day just to see this. And I know June 1st, a lot of the other ones that are just doing the takeouts, they're saying, yeah, we're going to, see if we can open on the 1st. And I go, just open. What can they do? They can't put you in jail.
Right. If enough people just open, yes.
What happened to you with that guy stealing your car? I mean, they still probably haven't got him back.
Let's hope June 1st. June 1st is Open Your Business LA Day. Let's just hope people open. Open.
And that's what I'm praying, and I'm telling everybody, hey, open your business. And I tell people at the beach today, there's not a lot of people walking around with masks. Most people are not, which is good. I don't have one on all day.
Right.
And, it's nice to see people just, that's what your face looks like,
Okay.
Not wandering around with these stupid things. But thank you so much. And I just, all I want to say, you're in the district so you can vote for Eric Early, I think.
No, I'm not. The radio station is, though. But thank you for calling in. There's my music, Sue. I appreciate it. And don't forget, next week, we're going to talk about something else. Anyway, this is Kathleen Wells, the Naked Truth Report, and I'll talk to you next week. We'll probably be talking about COVID-19 again. It's redundant, I know. What is it? Groundhog's Day, yeah. Okay, I'll see you next week. Thanks.